Hey, good morning. What's going on, everyone? My name is Seth Miranda. I'm here with Jennifer McClure, who you're going to get to know real fast. As when I think of Jennifer, I think of hard conceptual fine art photography, and you're going to see it full force. But before we get going, of course, we're at 42 West 18th Street, Adorama store itself. So, you can come on by. If you guys want, you can check out Jennifer's work here while we get going. And I just want to give a quick thanks to Leica for sponsoring this. You shoot Leica, the fine art choice.
Well, I don't know if it's fine art choice. It's more street photography choice, but I'm using it for fine art.
It's
And it works
amazing.
amazing for me. Yeah.
The color tones, the image quality. It's just image quality. That's basically Leica and build quality.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the color for me.
Yes.
Because I don't have time to edit and work on and belabor photos in Photoshop. So I need it pretty much as is right out of the camera.
And that's what you're going to hear from a lot of Leica shooters. Mark DiPaolo always talks about that. Like he chooses the camera based on the sensor. It's always a Leica. But you'll see some Leica images. We'll go through some of her work. But if you are at all a camera nerd, go check out what Leica is putting out there, including their lenses. The Q3 has come out, which is incredible. The SL3 just got put out on the market. Really, really cool stuff. Incredible image quality. And if you ever get a chance, go to a Leica event and try one out. Throw a memory card in and just see what the images look like. It's also just to feel a Leica. Forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this like to students, especially when they're looking for new cameras, you have to go to a store and pick it up and put it in your hands.
Yep.
And see how it feels. And like it just felt like, oh, okay.
It's for me.
Yeah.
And one more quick thank you to Gotham Roasters. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Gotham Roasters is right one block up. So if you're coming to 18th Street for Adorama, 19th Street is Gotham Roasters. We're a big fan of them. What'd you get?
Just black coffee.
Like a
milk.
beat cop.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. I'm just gonna kick one thing really quick. All right. Cool. We're in it, guys. So let me take away that and let me put that back on. All right, Jennifer McClure, this is not your first time here.
No.
Years you've been through here. Years you've been shooting. I feel like I run into someone in this industry that knows Jennifer McClure at some form or has seen your images and goes, that's a Jennifer shot. And what I find from your images is it's high concept, but there's a narrative and there's common themes. I don't know why, maybe there's so many, but you have a lot of water in your images, I find. And it even when I see a shot that's not yours and there's water and there's like a somber, heavy feel to it,
Yeah.
I'm like, this reminds me of Jennifer McClure's work. I'm going to go through your Instagram while we talk about it.
Okay.
So is that fair to say? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love having water in work because I love everything it can symbolize.
Well, okay, cool. So this is your Instagram we're going through, and right away it's like water,
Yeah.
right? And I might be mistaken here, but didn't you somewhere say that like you had a traumatic experience with water growing up and it stuck with you? Is that where
It
things?
really, really stuck with me. And, I didn't even realize I was doing it until I made this whole series and I saw that I was in water over and over and over again. And I really started to think about what it meant. And it was that.
And you've been through a lot of training as well. I mean, you went through ICP. First of all, you found this. You were like, what do I want to do in life? And you're like, I like shooting. How can I go do this?
I did. I reached a point, I think I was turning 30, and I thought, all right, I'd been working in restaurants, which I loved and which was amazing for a very long time. But I thought, okay, I need to have a higher purpose here, something else. And I thought about what brought me joy, and it's photography.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go through the ICP program. I took continuing education classes, and I was a TA for years because that way you can get the education without paying for it. And that was what I needed at that point in time.
I mean, I do find that TAs get a lot of after hours like
Yes.
education. You kind of get to know the professor. They kind of talk to you like a little more casually.
Yes, absolutely.
But you didn't just stop there. You've been doing a lot of fine artwork, but you also helped form the WPA, which is the Women's Photo Alliance.
Yes.
So you're active communally, industry, or fine art wise, just shooting in general. So I had to pull you on here because I'm like, this one's on, like going for it. Like, where did this come about? How long's it been around? What's going on here?
Well, it's been around since 2015. And it started because I noticed in a lot of the photography forums, whenever I had a technical question or any sort of question, um, I noticed that the answers in the regular groups I was going to weren't always kind or helpful.
Oh,
And I
online forums,
online
not
for
kind or helpful.
and a lot of mansplaining, if you don't mind me saying.
It's all right.
And so I thought, why not create a space where women can just talk to other women? And when I
Fair.
say women, I mean all female identifying individuals. And so that's how it started. And in the beginning, we had meetups. Like we would go to a gallery, we would meet up at
That's cool.
Photoville. Yeah. And with the pandemic, that's really tapered off. And then I had a kid, so that also limits my social life.
Oh, you get closer to one person, right? So
Yes. Yes. So the community has largely become online these days,
yeah.
but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, whenever someone comes here and they go like they don't feel like there's a segment, like there is, you either haven't found it or go build it and you will find it. And I feel like
Exactly.
if you felt that that's what you needed, you went out and you built it. And that's exactly how we all should be about
Yeah.
this, you know?
That's what I felt too. Like instead of saying somebody should do this, I
You
was
did
like,
it.
well, maybe I'm somebody.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're very proactive. I mean, if you think about your genesis of this, like, what do I want to do? I like shooting. I go shoot. How can I get better? Go get trained. Where can I go get trained? Here. I think there should be more women talking to each other about photo. Where can I go do that? Oh, here. Like, there's answers. And you know what I'm saying? Like, when people
Yeah.
tell me there's no or I can't, it's like, did you get up out of your chair yet? Did you look
Right.
around?
Well, I have a tendency to do that. Like I can talk myself out of anything. It's like a gift. I should put it on my resume.
Start debating yourself.
So I really have to work hard at listening to that voice and then going, okay, that's enough. Like, how can I make something work?
I think that's a lot for anyone that has to be self-driven, whether it's creative or not. Freelance, just it's up to you. No one's going to tell you to pick up that camera, go make
Exactly.
prints, go get those guys. No one's going to tell you that.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to, and I totally get it. After you get up for a second, you're like, yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a good idea.
Or I tell myself, oh, that won't work out. I won't even submit. I'm not going to try. And then I tell my kid this all the time, just try. Like the worst that can happen is somebody says no, and then you're right back where you started.
It's true. Yeah. You actually, people don't realize that it starts with you.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So my biggest problem is you get complacent because it's like, well, I'm not losing anything, but you're also not growing, right?
Yes.
Are you okay with where you are? Yeah, I can eat today. Yeah, I'm going to have tomorrow. It's when your back's against the wall that you really start seeing what you're going to do. But it's very easy to go, so I don't. What's the worst?
It's so much easier. And especially these days, you can just go, I don't know. I'm just going to play Wordle on my phone and not work on any of this. And I'm certainly guilty of like all of these distractions that are so easy.
I stopped playing Wordle because there's an app that people use on the side to find words while they're playing Wordle and they destroy me. And I go, well, now it's not fun.
That's not fair.
It's not fair, but I don't know if that guy in Austria who's playing against me is,
You can't do
or
that.
Words with Friends or whatever it is.
Oh, I never got into that one, thank God. Yeah.
Well, we're full of distractions in this world. Even
Yes.
when you're posting your work to Instagram, you're combating that next thing they're going to swipe. You have 3 seconds of someone's attention,
Yeah.
you know? So you're really, a lot of what you do for the fine art world is you've got to grab somebody so they can ingest your work. It's not press. It's not commercial. It's not, disposable. You're trying to make an impact. And is that a stress that you figure when you're creating that, like, how can I get someone to connect with this? Or you're just doing what connects to you and hoping it goes out
Well, when I'm creating, I'm just making the work I feel like I'm interested in making at that point. And it's not until I've made it for a couple of years that I look back at it and figure out, okay, these work, those work. This is a new direction. How can I sort of wrap this up? Where am I going?
there.
And I don't think at all about how people will connect with it.
I think you also have a self-therapy with yours,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's if that's really where the foundation of the work comes from, you're not thinking about who's going to see this and how they take it. You're trying to get through yourself and put it out there and hope it's accepted to some level, like, I guess.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm not creating it for an audience. And I'm always surprised when people say they connect with it because it's so specific to me. But the thing I that I always think about is the advice that Lisette Modell gave to Deanne Arbus, which is the more specific you are, the more general it will be.
Mm. You'd be surprised how many people felt the same way or went through similar things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
And-
Yeah, because I think I keep trying to put like a genre to what you're shooting, and it's kind of like it's not it's conceptual documentary, but it's not totally documentary because some of it's curated. So it's like this like gray area of you're trying to get an image across, but it's also actually documenting something to some level.
Yeah, so it's not like super conceptual
Right.
or abstract, but
It's
it's
not
also
abstract,
again,
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not straight documentary
Right.
either.
Right.
And so it is kind of hard for me sometimes to find a good landing spot, but I don't worry about that when I'm making it. I'm worried about it after.
I get
And
that.
sometimes it doesn't always hit.
No, it does. So a million years ago, before commercial land for this guy, I was in the fine art galleries and I did what I call docudramas.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of friends who went through issues, and like the most common was overdoses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would go to the exact motel rooms they overdosed in, the exact ones, recreate it so that they were getting through it.
Right.
And then I would do it in cross-processed film so there'd be a surreal feel to it. Poisoned myself in color darkrooms, which was fun. And I had them write a letter about it like it was a journal. And I did a gallery show of it once, and I was like, this is going to hit. And some people were so turned off to it, or they had kids that went through similar things, they didn't want to face it, or you just don't really know that final factor of who is ingesting the work. You know, I had one person tell me that the work seemed selfish, and I was like, well, they're my friends. So I went with something that was
seems
focused-
very generous to me.
Yeah.
To do that work.
I don't know. Again, it's like that final filter, right? I mean, it's just like you say something, your tone of voice matters, the context matters, the platform matters. So like, you just don't know what's like those forums. Hey, I need help doing this. And then you get that ego guy that's like, how do you not know this?
Exactly.
You know? So, and that's a huge thing to consider, I think. But I think overall, because what you're doing is so human, I don't care where you come from. You can go, this feels heavy to me. Like I kept, there's a weight to your images. There's like, does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And I feel like that's how I get it off of me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Putting it there.
What's a typical time for a body of work, do you feel like? Well, how much do you go for it? Is it like until it's done?
Usually until it's done. The only project I ever had that was finite was the one I did on my pregnancy, because that was 9 months, and then we're done.
Yeah,
That's the only one where I knew.
There's a shot clock on that one. Yeah, I'd imagine.
So that was the only one. And the rest of them I make until I feel like I'm done.
Yeah.
Until I feel like I've tried everything. I make a point of trying every idea I get, even if I think it's ridiculous. And so I have a lot of photos that don't make the cut. But when I feel like I'm done and I can't make another photo, that's it. And that's usually about 3 years.
Wow. There's people watching that have a 3-second attention span.
Yeah.
Forget about work ethic span.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing too. I don't think people are so, especially in digital world, especially in fleeting social land.
Yeah.
Me, I'm over it while I'm shooting something. I don't even want to look at it again.
Yeah.
When we do those new product videos, I don't want to look at the photos anymore. I'm like, all right, we got it. We're done, you know? But you're so tied. It's not just the shot. It's not about getting the technical right. You are literally part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rare, I feel, in this era.
It's, yeah. I mean, I can think of quite a few people who do it, but it's getting that kind of work out there is a different story.
There's a lot of static out there, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the work I've been making recently, like since my daughter was born, like I have no idea what's going on with that. That's been 5 years. And I don't know if I'm done. I don't know what's happening. Like it still feels like I've been making for 5 years, but I've been so busy that I haven't had time to sit down and look and absorb and edit and figure out what that whole thing was.
Oh, you've got to stop and look
But
around.
personally, I feel like I don't know what that whole thing was. Like that was 5 years that kind of knocked me on my butt.
Well, you yourself are a medium at that point, right? Like you're just kind of like this conduit till you feel it's over.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's so much weight to the images, because it's you, like you're really putting yourself out there. I just want to answer this one question. Her organization that she put together is WPA. I'll put it up really quick, guys. Go ahead and hit follow on that, especially if you're a female in this industry. I'm sure you could totally use some community out there, which is crazy because you know what's going on right now. Trade shows are seeing more women than men ever.
Oh, good.
And we're seeing the marketing sales of equipment going to women more than men for the first time. But I also think that's part of men have been through it, been part of it, bought the equipment, been to the trade shows. Now they've, women come through and get the training, get the community, get the connection, get the gear, whatever,
Well, maybe this will put an end to the female model in ethereal clothing trend that happens at trade shows.
What, you mean the wings? Are you not a fan of the wings? I will never understand the wings in my ever. Listen, if you like shooting wings, more power to you. I just, every time, it almost, to me, it feels like I can't think of anything. You know what would be great? Wings.
Yeah, I know. Just put a lady up there.
Well, what kills me is you walk around trade shows, and as someone that has to talk on stage, I see the same formula. Guy, female model. We're still doing this. How many decades? So I always try to get male models. I try to do character shots that are like more character driven, that aren't so much like pretty, pretty, pretty. Yay, yay, yay.
That's amazing.
And yeah, but then you get smaller crowds. You get smaller interests. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as anything else, Don't get depressed. Don't do it.
No, I was already trying to think of a solution. Like, how do we fix that?
I think there's genres of photography popping up that weren't around before. I mean, people like to shoot cosplay, make those characters come to life.
Yeah.
But there's also this idea of like, well, where does the shot go to, right? You're working for years on a body of work, hoping to get that show, put a book out, something like that. A lot of people are shooting going, okay, that's done. Now what? Where does this go? What do I do? And you teach classes. What do you say to your students about something like that? Like, is the final destination of print to appreciate it? Do they want to go for more of a career as far as commercial goes to try to make a living? Or are you trying to go like care about the work more? Like, where is it? Where are we going?
I try and teach them to care about the work, because I feel like if you're making work that's authentic, that eventually it will find its audience.
Okay.
And that could be anything. It could be a show at your local museum or library. It could be a gallery. It could be a book. It could be magazines. And so you really have to tailor that advice to individual students. But I'm also very honest, and I sometimes feel badly about that, about the financial realities of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because fine art doesn't exactly have an amazing return on investment. So you have to do it because you love it.
Yeah.
Like, that's important.
How did you feel about the whole NFT era that we just went through?
That was bizarre. I didn't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
It was very strange to me. And it's gone now, right? Like, it's
It still
basically,
exists.
it's there, but it's not like the craze that it was.
I think there was a lot of deciphering what it even was.
Yeah.
And while that was happening, you're hearing about $64 million sales, and then everybody's minting stuff. And they're still happening out there. I personally believe we do need to find a system to own digital media.
Yes.
But I don't know if crypto bros are the way to go with that.
I mean, I did love the sudden influx of news about photographers who were making money, especially fine art photographers.
Yeah.
Because it's just not easy. And so that was exciting to see. But there was always wondering, where's it going to go? How's it going to play out? But like the rest of it, every student will come in and they say, I want a gallery show and I want a book.
It's always the book. It's always a book.
Always a book.
Always a book.
And so then when we get to the publishing section and I'm like, this is what you can expect to pay. And these are the like 3 companies in the world that won't make you pay anything.
Interesting.
Here's their submission process. Here's their roster. Do you fit in?
Yeah. When you see that Magnum roster, you're like, okay.
Or like Steidl. Everybody wants a
Yeah.
Steidl book.
Yeah.
I would love that. But it's really competitive given the number of books they make per year. And so, and also when you explain, like, this is how it's always been.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing that people are paying for their books.
A million years ago, Union Square was a hub for BMX and skate, right? And we used to meet there to trade our images before we went to magazines. And I kept getting the guys I shot wanting copies, but I couldn't afford them.
Right.
So I did whatever I could to sell something, to then go to a library and photocopy prints and make zines. And that was more impactful than things I really were trying to get investments on.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's not about how clean it is. It's about the spirit behind it. As hokey as that, I know the spirit behind it. But if you really believe in something, other people can't help to believe in it, because it starts with you and then it gets diluted as it goes down. But if you don't start it, no one's going to believe in it, right? So it's not always about getting that perfect curated book. It's about just getting something done and out there with what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to book fairs these days, the most bustling sections are like the zine wing.
Yeah, man.
Or wherever they put the zines off to the side, that's where the action
I
is.
love zines.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I grew up punk here in New York.
Yeah.
Everybody had zines, and the whole goal was the less you can spend on it, the more of a god you are.
Yeah. And I think there are people out there doing, like, do you know Chris Graves?
No.
So he has a imprint, and he puts books out for a reasonable cost.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the future, like zines and reasonably priced.
I always thought that books were like we're going to get to a place where they're collectible. So it's like higher priced, super pristine, almost like magazines became twice a year, like Black and White and all those, you know. David Carroll has Peanut Press Books.
Yeah.
And he lets you go through every step of exactly, because it becomes a piece when he's done with it. It's not just, we use this paper and this cover, you know?
Yeah, I have a portfolio book with them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was amazing to work with them.
What was that process like?
Well, they had a project in mind of mine that they wanted to show, so they already knew the work. So I had to go through and look at all my outtakes and B-sides to come up with something fresh. And I kind of gave it over to them and let them do their thing.
Oh, really?
They're great at it. They're wonderful
care.
editors. They care. Yeah.
But every book I pick up from them, it has a completely different feel.
Yeah.
It's really its own thing.
Yeah.
It's really wild. You're like, wow, this is so customized. And they show, if you're not, we're talking about Peanut Press Books, and if you could check them out on Instagram, they'll show you the BTS. And David Carroll is, I got to get him on here. What a character that guy is.
Yeah.
I have Victoria Will's book from them, and every time you open it up, you're just like, wow, these are wet plate of celebrities.
Yeah.
And one of them was the last portrait of oh my God, he passed away.
Sam Shepard?
No.
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
And you look at that image and you go, there was definitely something going on behind those eyes.
Yeah.
And Victoria Will is an amazing photographer. You guys should check her work out. But Peanut Press Books as well. I got to see this book here. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
They put out like 2020.
Oh, I definitely have to check this out.
Yeah, like they put out a portfolio series. I think it's 9 every year.
Okay.
And I was one of the portfolio, like the first season of these portfolio books.
That's cool, man. I tried to talk him into doing trading cards. I thought that'd be super fun.
Oh, that'd be amazing. But the way the portfolio books work is that they come with a print.
That's awesome.
So it's a little more expensive than a regular book, but you get a collectible print.
It's a piece, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. If you're really into someone's work or a work that affected you, like having an actual piece of it, not a copied print, a $20 poster, it's a different experience. And you teaching, it's got to be really interesting, the younger generations, to go through, here's what's special about prints.
Yes.
You know, because you can't experience it until it's actually there. Like you can't look at a picture of a picture. You can't, like, what's that like trying to relate to a younger generation? Like, no. You want it to exist as a material.
Well, it's a mix. Working, because I taught a class at ICP called The Daily Practice that was half undergrad students from PACE and half continuing education. So it's interesting to have continuing education, which skews towards let's make a print and put it on the wall, and the younger kids who are all like, where do I put it? Online and instantly.
Take a picture of it with their phone. They get this amazing print and they take a picture of it with their phone to put it on Instagram. And they're
seriously.
like, all right, I can throw this out now.
But they honestly, like, they have all these new techniques for digital that just blows my mind.
It's incredible, like the G-Clees and all this stuff. Yeah. It's also really interesting so Adorama has Printique and people pick up their prints here. You can actually see probably like NYU kids or FIT kids, whatever. They're the first time they're getting prints made, they're looking at them like, oh, there's no light coming through it. Like they were almost like wondering where the impact, like it's a different type of impact.
Yeah.
It exists. It's like a person standing next to you now. It's not a screen. It's existing in the world. You can't shut it off. You can't swipe it away. There's no double tapping on it. You just absorb it.
Yes. And I think that's also when they realized the importance of editing.
What do you think their biggest fall point as that goes? Do you think like they just can't figure out the image to print?
Um, well,
Or
it's that, and also how to actually prepare the print,
okay,
prepare the file for a print.
color
'Cause
grade.
that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think they even realize that all screens don't match.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most terrifying concepts to me, that I get my website looking how I want it, and then somebody on a PC could see something totally washed out and different.
It's so when I watch people meticulously, I'm like, unless you're making a print, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You know, I remember the first time Daniel Norton said that to someone, they were like, could not grasp the concept that everyone will see the work differently if it's through a screen. I mean, even like the generation of phone, right?
Yeah.
Versus 10-bit versus 8-bit, like,
I know.
you know? So there is a lot to be learned as far as like a universal, this is the correct way. And then wherever the chips lay out there, you got to be at peace with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have people show me screenshots from their phones of shots of mine, and I'm like, wow, that just murdered all my tones.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
it's a copy of a copy.
A copy of it. Yeah, exactly.
It's wild.
And
man.
it's horrifying.
It is
You see
horrifying.
your baby like out there just destroyed.
Oh, you want to talk about horrifying? How about the people that are seeing their watermarks show up in AI generated stuff from photos getting scraped off the internet? You know what
that's
I mean?
horrifying.
Yeah, we're still in the early days of it. So
I know.
we have photo organizations in Congress fighting for us right now, so that people don't have AI that just goes to the internet, whatever is out there on Google Images, and eats it,
Yeah.
and then spits out what someone typed in. I think we're going to go through something. And as someone that puts as much into your work as you do you think there's any place to incorporate AI as an application for what you do? Or do you really just, it has to be in front of my lens and this is what I'm doing?
I mean, the only thing I've ever considered AI for is editing hair out of photos, the flyaways. Like, otherwise, I have no interest.
The busy work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
So you don't see it as a medium for something?
I've seen people who have used it super creatively. So many people, like Philip Toledano has a book out now of really interesting AI work. Diana Nicolette, I always pronounce her last name wrong, Jeon, does a lot of really cool AI work, but it's something different than I feel like I don't think I have an application for it, but I appreciate it when it's done in the spirit of this is a creation.
Yeah, I think it's if you use it as a tool to get an end result to then make what you're going to make, that's one thing. People that submit it as like it's been done and here it is, like, whoa, don't serve me a platter of like this fast food. Like, don't start this with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do see a lot of applications for it in commercial. So you have to put together, I need a stadium background for this football shot. I get it. But what that's why I think the work that you're doing, because you're so tied to it, it will stay timeless. Even if the technology you use to make it changes, you're not shooting film, you're shooting digital, whatever. The baseline of it is so human, what you're doing. That's why I think it's not surprising people get connected to it.
I mean, that's my hope.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a weirdo that had these issues that no one could connect to, I get it. But someone's gone through trauma when they were younger.
Yeah.
Everyone's swam in a pool and knows what that water feels like. And when you look at your images, you can kind of feel it. You know, I may not have experienced what you experienced, but I can feel like a girl floating in the water like that, feeling weightless,
right?
Feeling vast, but tranquil, but small. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. The weight's there. And I just find it rare because how many guys are following Instagrams that it's just, let's throw the dress in the air. Oh, look, canned fog, gels, prisms in front of my lens. But is there really something to bite into there? You know?
Yeah, it can't be all style and no substance.
So Brad's saying they enjoy AI masking. I get that. Getting rid of the busy work. I get it. Something that's going to eat my time. I get it. You know?
I can see that too.
Yeah.
You know, I remember trying to learn Photoshop and creating a path and using that pen and just getting so frustrated. So I can see like, hey, just take this person out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If it's going to get me to an end result anyway, and it saves my life of not burning my sanity.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And if all I'm doing is taking an exit sign out of the background and not changing like.
She lies to you. See this? Her images are all lies. Yo, can you see if someone can shut the air off? Thanks.
I usually end up just not using those if I have to do too much Photoshop.
Well, I'm in the camp of I try to always. I know this sounds stupid. Don't. But I always try to channel my days of shooting slides
Yes.
because I don't want to edit. I don't care. Yes, women have pores, blood vessels, translucent skin under their eyes. That's what you're going to see every day anyway. And when people come to shoot with me, I hope that they come with me knowing those are the images you're going to get. You want to wreck them after the fact, knock yourself out.
Exactly.
And that's commercial land. They'll rip it apart and do whatever. But
yeah.
I really, really, really want to see genuine images. I want to see a documentation of the human that was in front of me. I did a demo here before we built the event space. It wasn't streamed. I shot my own mom's portrait. I was like, I want to see my mom. I don't want to see a glamorized version. I gave that woman those wrinkles. I'm doing this, you know? And I look at those images, and when she's gone, I'm going to feel my mom
Exactly.
from these images. But don't you think there's going to be a generation of people going like, I don't even know what my grandmother really looked like because these are the Instagram shots with face filters that I have of them.
Yeah, and there's going to be a whole generation that don't know what they look like themselves because we don't always look like we do in a 28 millimeter lens or 20, whatever's on the iPhone.
Yeah.
That's not what our faces look like.
There's even phones that do the beautification thing
Yeah.
like, automatically. You can't even shut it off.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? We want to live in this fake reality. And that's what's going to happen when we go into everyone living in these virtual worlds that Meta's trying to get us to do. It's like, no, I want to live here.
Exactly.
I want to see what this is.
I did some photos for a friend who was an actress for a website years ago. And she said after, like, oh, I'm so glad you didn't retouch and make it overly polished. And I was just shocked. I was like, was I supposed to? Is that what people do? Like, this is what you look like.
Is that what other people do? Should I be doing that?
I know. I gave you photos that look like you.
Well, there's a lot of people that come here to learn lighting, and I get people every now and then that are trying to do headshots because that's a really good way to make a living for a while, right? But you watch a year later, they come to you and they go like, I haven't had return clients. I'm like, let me see what you're shooting. And it's so hit hard with editing that those people probably got those headshots, went to whatever they needed, even if they're a dentist and they don't look like that image, it's not helping them.
It's not helping anybody.
No.
It comes back to authenticity.
Authenticity, yeah. And I think your work is so grounded in that. And I think it's really interesting that it takes you, that you care so much about like the release of it. 3 years working it, editing it, taking images out. What do I need to shoot to put in here? Do you ever get to a point 3 years later with the beginning of it? You're like, whoa, I'm in a totally different place right now after that.
All the time.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive you crazy?
Well, to me, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
To go crazy?
No.
Don't we? That's what we do.
Because usually when I start something, it's just because it's what I'm thinking about, what I'm obsessing about. And I don't always know why or if it's healthy. And sort of by the end of it, I feel like I've worked through some stuff. And if it is totally different, then that means I've grown.
Oh, that
cool. Means something has changed.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people use the medium like that anymore. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's become such a fast, boom, got it. Like there's not a lot of the few that are doing the substance. You have to be dedicated. I mean, I'm not spending 3 years on a body. I'm not doing it. I'm not. You know. But if you guys have any questions for Jennifer, please feel free. That's why we're live on this. Is there any projects you're currently in that you're like? Do you ever get like anxious? Like, I can't wait till this is just finally at its peak?
Not so much. I'm usually impatient. Pretty patient with that. But lately, the really interesting thing that's happened, which I still, like, I don't even know how to talk about it really. But I was showing work to somebody else, and I've always done self-portraits just because I started doing them because I was working with other people and other people would cancel and not show up. And I felt like I need to get my creative process going.
That's cool though.
So I started doing myself. But I've noticed like I haven't done self-portraits, just me, in like 2 years.
Okay.
And that is kind of a problem. That means I'm not checking in with myself and what I'm feeling and what's going on with me.
Interesting.
And so I've been thinking about it lately. Okay, so I need to do something that's showing what's going on with me. I have zero ideas.
Huh. Well, do you ever do the self-portraits and not show anyone anything? Like, is it just for you?
Oh, yeah.
I feel that's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, also what that is showing me is that I haven't made time for myself.
Interesting.
Like I've been teaching so much and doing stuff for my kid that I'm not checking in with what I need.
Interesting.
And so I don't know what that is at this point in time.
Well, does it always have to be a concept? Can it be just documentative?
That's how it starts, just documenting.
Yeah.
But even still, like I get the camera out and I look around and I'm like, I have nothing. I don't know what to do. At which point I just need to start doing something
Right.
because that's how you figure out what you want to do. You aren't going to figure it out just sitting on your couch and
Yeah.
closing your eyes and thinking really hard.
Yeah.
You've got to make the work to make it happen.
It's very easy to sit still.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so, especially in this world where everything comes to us.
Yes.
And I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, well, what's going to make me want to pick up this camera? You know, because
Yeah.
as if someone that works, that like, that's what they do for it's that camera can look like 2 tons sometimes. And you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to pick this thing up. And sometimes it's the camera. Like I recently just got the X100 VI, the Fujifilm one. It makes me want to go shoot something because there's no pressure on it. I'm just looking for cool things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember something. Like when we were in Tokyo with it, I'm like, I need to shoot everything that's going to make me remember Tokyo because I might never get back here, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to find in ourselves, what is it that makes you want to just go shoot? Forget about what I'm going to do. What makes you want to go do?
Right.
And I think that's a hard thing to find for some people.
It's hard. And lately, what I've been doing is picking up the camera and making more photos of my daughter.
How could you not, right?
Which, yeah, and I'm not going to use these for anything. They're just for me and for her and for our family. But it's using that creative muscle and getting it going. And I'm hoping that if I keep using that creative muscle where I'm framing and looking at light, that something will come to me.
Click. How's your daughter with it? Is she just like having fun with it, or is like no?
Oh, it
Like enough?
depends. It all
Oh yeah.
depends.
How old is she?
Yeah, she's 5.
Oh, that's a fun age.
Yeah, and she knows that sometimes I really want her to take pictures, so it's something she can control and she loves that power. So often she'll just be like, "No." Like we get it all set up and then she'll just sit there. "No." Or she'll just and for a while this was a problem for me, but now I'm like, "Oh, this is exactly how it's supposed to be." She's been taking control. And so
Okay.
I'll have an idea and I'll tell her, "This is what I want to do." And then she'll go, "No." And she'll get dressed up in some ridiculous outfit.
That's
and
awesome.
She loves props, so she'll bring props and I'm like, "This is not what I have planned."
See, she's all Cindy Sherman with it.
I don't even know. Like I
Yeah.
can't make sense of it. But I finally just totally relaxed into it and I'm like, "Great. That's what you want to do? Sure. Like
That-
let's collaborate. Let's make something together. I don't have to control it." Which
That's
for
cool.
me is a lesson in parenting.
One day there's gonna be a YouTube channel called My Crazy Mom, and it's all gonna be just like, I used to wear these giant hats, and my mom,
Exactly.
That's cool though. I mean, do you give her anything to shoot something with herself, like just an
Oh,
easy camera?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years ago, somebody gave me a little Fuji, like the 100, I don't even know,
T100 maybe.
an X.
Oh, an X100.
I think so.
The original?
I should know. I
Wow.
think so. It's old.
Wow, that's gonna get collectible quick.
Yeah. And so I set it all on pretty much automatic. And she loves that
Just goes
thing.
nuts,
She
yeah.
takes it all over. And sometimes she'll take my phone and take pictures. Like she gets it.
I had I was dating someone that had a kid, and I gave them a Diana, and
Oh,
they just
yeah.
couldn't get over like the advancing the film was the funnest thing ever. It wasn't even the shot. They just
Yeah.
wanted to get to a shot so that they can then advance the film. I was like, this is so wild
Yeah.
that's what you're psyched on. But if you look at the shots, it has this like rushed anxiety to them. They're like, all right, I don't want to take nothing, but I got to find something. So it's really cool to see a perspective point. And I can only imagine as your child has part of you in there,
Yeah.
you're seeing something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I did a shoot with some friends of mine, a family shoot, and she came along and she brought her little camera.
Yeah.
And at one point, because they have a daughter her age that she's friends with, and at one point, she took the daughter out on the porch. And she's like, "Okay, I just want you to stand right here. I want you to look over there." And she took some photos and then she said, "I can see you're a little bit cold. I'm just going to do one more." I couldn't believe it.
I love it.
She-
So do you think there's anything too, because I try to kind of instill this in people with the phones.
Mm-hmm.
I think humans are learning about images faster and earlier than ever before. They're learning what light they like, even if they don't understand technical. They like what light they like. They like what time of days they like, framing, composition. Where do you think that fits in? Like, do you think that we're creating this super race of photographers now?
I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to figure out because imagery is so ingrained in our everyday lives. And there are billions and like more and more being produced every day. And we all have like 20,000 photos on our phones. Well, I do.
Yeah, I mean, same. I go through terabytes. Forget it.
Yeah. And so everybody's doing that. So we all have more images. And I don't think any of us know how it's going to shake out.
Yeah.
Like people are becoming more visually literate, but what does that mean for people who try and do this as a profession?
Visually literate. Oh, that's such a good way to put it. That how have I never heard this before? Visually literate. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think about when, I was a little kid, I wasn't thinking about taking pictures or documenting something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then
was actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, we moved all the time. My dad was a Marine. And so I used to take his camera and they finally got me a little Discman. Do you remember that thing?
Yes, yeah. The disc cameras you're talking about. The Kodak one.
Discman is the
Discman's the CD player, but a disc camera was 8mm sized frames in an actual disc that when you advanced it rotated almost like remember those stereographics like when you were a kid?
The 3D thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like that except not 3D, and they were flat. Like someone should totally put out that style camera today.
But those negatives were so small.
And they're grainy.
Oh my gosh. I went and looked at them recently and like there's one place in the world that will scan those for you.
Really?
And the quality, well, not really. I'm exaggerating. And the quality is just terrible.
Yeah, but you have to lean into that. Like that's the thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, there was like a weird noise coming.
Yeah, but I used to take those pictures like because we did move and I wanted to remember the people I was friends with.
That's totally valid.
Because it was comforting whenever we went to a new place. I would have them up on the wall. But it didn't occur to me that I could do that with my life at the time.
Yeah, I think that's not an experience that a lot of kids have where they're constantly like changing everything, constantly going, well, I want to remember that part or whatever. I got instilled with like a weird fear when I was young. I'm like, what if I miss something?
Yeah.
And then I just was like, I've got to take 3 cameras all the time. They were all Olympus Epics, little tiny 35mm with a battery that was annoying to find. The CR123A. And, but I got obsessed with this idea that I would miss something. And then when I look at this, I have a giant, like a tub of just 4x6 prints. Cause that's what you did, right? You got the 4x6
That's what
prints.
you got. Yeah.
Yeah. And I looked through them and I'm like, man, I was neurotic.
Yeah.
Like the dumb things. And I'm like, what did I care about this doorknob for? Who touched this last? I'm like trying to remember. But I think especially with the tone of your work, something has to happen for you to get motivated. You don't just shoot, you don't just like get up and start like, oh, keyboard. No, like a lot of what you do has been motivated. And I guess that's what you're looking for now with your self-portrait series, the next motivation.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing I think that's tripping me up too is that I started a job photo editing for a news website.
That's cool.
It's pretty great. I love it.
You must see a ton of perspective points.
Yes, but I feel like that's also kind of holding me back now. Because you see pictures of what's going on with kids all over the world and it makes me think, wow, like I'm so privileged to be able to make work about my life and my healthy, safe kid.
Yeah.
And so I'm having trouble finding what's important about all of this.
I think you're allowed to be thankful though. And you just be like, this is me documenting things that I'm very happy I have in my life,
Yeah, I think I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just right now I'm a little inundated with imagery.
Yeah. That I totally get. There's, many times, and you probably feel this too, like, there's something and you're like, well, why should I shoot it? This image already exists. Someone already probably did something like this. Like, what do I care? But you have to just kind of, it's hard to push that final little bit to get going on this for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's some stuff going on in the chat. I just checked your work from, for what I want better of expressing myself. I'll just say that I got gut punched, but now in a good way. Look at you.
Oh, that's good.
See that? But that's kind of what it takes sometimes. If you get like, sometimes go to MoMA, Go see what somebody else got going or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, and this is something else we talk about in one of my classes is what to do when you're stuck.
Yeah, which is going to happen forever.
To everybody. And a lot of it involves going, again, to a show, going to see a movie.
Being around.
Actually in a theater. Watching certain shows. Like I love some of the HBO shows. I look at their light and I study it.
Oh, yeah.
And I start from there. How do I recreate that light? And then whatever's happening with me, I just trust that it will come out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shows that when I was younger, Fight Club was everything to me. The look of it was everything. So I'm like, cross-process everything. Give me these cyans. And, I was raised on Goodfellas and Scorsese, being a New York native. And you look at that and like the lighting, you didn't even realize you were looking at genius, masterpiece work. You just were like taking for granted that this movie exists.
Yeah.
Then you get older and you're like, I want to do something close like that. How do you get that dice shot where they're rolling the dice at the casino and all that stuff? And just that thought and the gears going, it's something you got to chase, and you got to find that thing that does it for you. Movies definitely for me, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I could see it in your work for sure, especially like indie films, the way they do like the natural, like low, like less equipment, the better. Actual what's happening, the better.
Well, I think Wong Kar-wai was the one that really hit me.
Oh yeah.
A lot of low light, a lot of bright colors, like that one just got me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I the most recent thing that got me kicked off was Ozarks on Netflix. The light in there is just brilliant.
It's amazing. And Mad Men, I thought, had
Mad Men.
light. Yeah.
Whoa. I mean,
yeah.
And if you look at what it takes, you're just like, they cared that much.
They do. Oh, and I just finished Peaky Blinders and I was blown away.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders was incredible. Breaking Bad had some really incredible cinematography in it, and they shot it on film. And now we're seeing a lot of that too. A lot of stuff is being, Succession was shot on 10-minute mag film. That means they only had 10 minutes per shot, period. Those the in the last season they did like an all one shot kind of look. They were changing mags as they're moving the camera, because they only had 10 minutes, but they're following them the whole way. So they had to like break it behind somebody, then load the mag and keep going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's intense, but isn't it cool that we're at a place where, we could do it digitally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could get it done, but they care that much that it has to be like this. The thing with film that I don't think people understand is you get a color saturation that exists because in digital, it gets brighter as you saturate.
Yes.
And I don't think people understand. Maybe that's why younger generations find it so special. I'm sure you teaching the younger generations are feeling it. Do you see like a super affinity for it?
Yeah, a lot of them are turning in more film. They're like, I'll have more photos next week when my film is developed. And they love the scratches and the grain and the different contrast and different saturation.
It's organic.
Yeah.
Some of them I think, and I'm throwing shade. Some of them totally lean on it to be like, look, it's on film. It's got to be good, right?
It's
like,
cool. It's already.
Look, if you shot that any other way, would you care about looking at that image? That's my thing.
Yeah. Well, eventually they'll get to that point. There's only so long you can make those kind of photos before you get bored. You need to find your reason.
You're probably the nicest point of feedback they'll ever get is from you, probably. I can only imagine. I just remember working for magazines when I was younger and how brutal it was. I always tell this story. I got flown to the West Coast just to have my negatives thrown in the garbage in front of my face once.
Are you serious?
Yeah. They had me shoot a job later, but they totally just wanted me to see that.
That's insane.
And it shaped a lot for me. And I'm like, if someone that gives me a bad comment on something, like, you didn't throw my film out in front of me, when I spent money, time, thought I was going somewhere, like, and I think it's important that you're able to build a callus, don't you think? Like, I think there's a little fragility going on.
Oh, you have to. There's so much rejection. And it doesn't matter which area of photography you're in.
Yeah.
If it's commercial, editorial, it doesn't matter. There's so much rejection.
Jennifer, thank you for being such a great teacher, from Matthew Finley.
Oh, Matthew, congratulations. Matthew just won an amazing award. Everybody should go look at his work.
Matthew Finley in the chat.
Yeah, he just won the Center Award for a personal project.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, such great work.
And don't forget, there's stuff like that out there. So if you're looking for something to shoot for, look for a grant, look for a show, look for a competition. Here in Printique in Brooklyn, they have the women show up. There was open call. Women submitted to have their work part of it. And what, six women? 6 women want to be part of that show. So,
Well, I will say too, there's a resource for fine art photography, but also other things. It's called Lenscratch.
okay.
That's the name of the website. And they have in their resource folder a listing of calls for entry that's very comprehensive.
I don't know why I'm typing in all caps.
It should be one word, Lenscratch.
This?
Oh, no. That's it.
This is
Yes. And if you go to resources up there, it's a wealth of information.
it? Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes. Residencies, cost per entry. That's everything you need.
That's awesome. Not
Yeah.
sponsored, but check it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope that's what this show kind of does, is give some resources to people, because I think we get, especially as photographers, we get isolated. And
Yes.
when I started this series, I was like, this is the conversations that people hope to be part of, but are so timid if they're just getting started or they don't know anyone. It's very easy to shoot and throw it in a shoebox and move on, or not shoot at all, or not know where to go. But
Yeah.
that's what I kind of hope this kind of got across there. We're kind of out of time, so I'm just going to quickly throw up if you want to check out Jennifer's work right there. Do you have anything coming up you want to promote? Anything that you...
Honestly, I'm about to hit a point where I'm just going to hunker down and make my own work. So I don't have.
You picked a great
anything.
time to be a guest.
Great time.
Perfect. Perfect. What I will say, though, there is a bunch of stuff on Facebook, Photo Brigade, of Jennifer on a bunch of panels and stuff, which is very insightful, stuff about portfolio reviews, things like
Yes.
that.
We did one on portraits with Victoria Will.
Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned.
And we'll keep an eye on this one. She might be going places. I don't know. I'm gonna check out that Peanut Press book, though. I didn't even know about that. That's awesome. I gotta call David Carroll and get him in here.
You really need to get David Carroll.
I know. I have the funniest stories with that guy. I ran into him in Midtown. He threw me in a cab, and next thing I know, it was at Photo Plus trade show.
Oh, wow.
And I live streamed it on Instagram. I was like, "Where? What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna like. We're gonna go." The next thing I know, I'm there. I ran into him in Soho, and he's like, "I'm walking to Tribeca." I started walking to Tribeca with David, and we ended up getting caught. I'm like, "What is happening? You're just this guy that walks into life." And then he's a very cool guy. He was the CBS photo editor for a long time. Photo director.
Yeah.
For a long time. We'll try to get him in here. Peanut Press Books, Jennifer McClure. Check out all this stuff. Check out her site. Hit up WPA on
Instagram.
WPA on Instagram. Join that. Follow it. Doesn't matter what gender you are. Just follow it. It's important to stay up on communities in our industry. Okay. And Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. I guess it's been a long time since you've been. We got to get you back doing some stuff.
I feel like the pandemic warped everybody's sense of time. It feels like yesterday I was in here.
Well, when she said, like, "Oh, we should get Jennifer," I'm like, of course. Oh, wait a minute. It's been like 5 years.
It's been a whole kid.
It's been a whole kid. That's a reference of time. Guys, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to drop comments here. She's going to hawk it. She's doing nothing but hunkering down. So drop comments if you're watching on playback. And check out the Adorama Events channel for more live streams. Everything that happens out of this event space, Adorama Events, new channel. Hit subscribe there. Jennifer, thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you guys in the next one later.